What's up, everyone? This is your host again, Limitless, back with another episode of Limitless Talks. And peace, love, and light to you all out there. Uh, there's a lot going on as usual, and I'm just back again with every major news compiled, and I'm gonna give it all up to you guys within the next uh, couple of minutes. You understand what I'm saying? But anyways, I hope everyone's been good, man. You get me? There's a lot going on out here, and we all need to basically, you know, understand and have our heads in the game. You get me? We need to stand on our square, cause it's no joke out here. There's a lot of things being planned that the masses aren't privy to, and it's gonna come by shock. It's gonna come by shock. And it's not that the information ain't out there. The information is out there. We just have to go dig it out because they're not gonna make it easy for us. You understand what I'm saying? They're not gonna make it easy. So that's why it's important that we have a different perspective to that which they're giving us. So anyways, without further ado, let's get into the funny articles. Right. We've got UK house prices surge above 350,000 as demand outstrips supplies. The average house price in Britain has surged above 350,000 for the first time ever as buyers demand outstrip the amount of homes on sales. Guys, what one thing we just have to think of is what is the average salary in the UK? You understand what I'm saying? The average salary is not even up to 30k. So where this retail demand is, I have no clue. I don't know any anyone making about 30k that that's spending 350k on a property. I actually don't know. You understand what I'm saying? But what we do know is there's a lot of asset purchases going on via the central bank, quantitative easing. So the purchase they're doing also includes a lot of these mortgage-backed securities. They're buying up all these properties, so which is creating an artificial demand. There's actually no demand from the people, as in the retail, us, the people. There's no demand. It's the institutions buying up the property, which is causing the prices to rise. And the reason they're doing that is simple. They don't want the average person again to be able to afford these prices. A few weeks back, early in March, Bank of England even came out and told corporations not to increase wages. You understand what I'm saying? Because that could further cause inflation to skyrocket. And I'm just like, that makes no sense. It's like you gotta listen to what they say, and it's just crass. It's crass. Moving on, we've got global regulators monitor crypto use in Ukraine war. Again, we know why they're monitoring this thing because they want to say, oh, Russia is using it to evade sanction, but that's not what they're doing. It's this is a trial. Everything they do is a test. It moves them one step closer to their agenda. You understand what I'm saying? So all they're doing is off the back of that, they want to bring in global regulation. Cryptos are going to be regulated globally. You understand what I'm saying? Moving on, we've got Biden wants a real food shortage following sanctions on Russia. And guys, let's just hear it from the horse's mouth. What's going on with the sound now? All right. I don't know what's going on with the sound, but anyways, Biden was basically talking about how food shortages is gonna be real, and he said the sanctions, is not just on Russia. It also affects U.S. and several, European countries. So you gotta ask yourself why are they imposing a sanction that affects them? You understand what I'm saying? Like, make it make sense. Why would you do something that affects your own people? It makes no sense. That just goes to prove further that the agenda they're pushing towards is is not one that's gonna benefit anyone. You understand what I'm saying? Except for those at the top. You understand? If you haven't seen the Georgia Guidestone, I'd encourage everyone to look into that. Moving on, we've got DBS CEO sees crypto as an alternative to gold. Says central bank globally should regulate cryptocurrencies. Central banks shouldn't regulate cryptocurrencies. The people should regulate cryptocurrencies. You understand what I'm saying? We should decide the things that needs to be put in place. But then again, 90% of the people don't participate in politics. But the crass comment that this guy made, that I wanna point out is coming on in regards to gold here. It says, I don't think that cryptocurrencies will become money as we know it, but it can be an alternative to gold and its value. That makes no sense, guys. If we understand anything, we have money of account and we have money of value. You understand what I'm saying? The money we actually have today that we're using, all the fiat currency, they're debt based instrument. They're fiat. You understand what I'm saying? They're debt based. So nobody's actually paying for anything. Everyone's just using IOU. You understand what I'm saying? That's all everyone is doing. Since the eradication of gold, backed by uh, uh, currency backed by gold, we've all been on money of account since then. Nobody's actually been using money, and saying cryptocurrency is an alternative to gold is nonsensical, because it can never be an alternative to gold, because cryptocurrencies are still the same principles of fiat currencies. They're just digital. There's nothing different. That's why it's important to understand what these things are. So guys, stock up on your gold, because cryptocurrency will never replace gold and its value, as this idiot just said. You understand? And lastly, we've got Ukraine CBDC is progressing during wartime. Stellar CEO. So we know Ukraine is currently working with Stellar, which is XLM, to basically develop their central bank digital currency. And they had a whole conference and stuff like that, and they were talking about how that is still progressing even during wartime. And again, that just shows you, how are they in war and they still got time to be developing, a lot of this digital infrastructure. It's hilarious. You understand what I'm saying? It's still business as usual for these guys, because they've got an agenda to keep up with. But anyways, with all that being said, let's take a quick break and then continue with the rest of the show. Welcome back, guys. This is your host again, Limitless. This is that show where we talk about politics, economics, and propaganda, and of course, everything in between that makes the world work. Because it's very important that we know how the world works. You understand? So, moving on to the market has been lovely for a couple of days now, and of course we know why the market is nice. You understand what I'm saying? Right now we got the US stock market nicely green, European stock market green, Asia market is sort of decoupled from the western side, because we understand that the Asians, they they're in a whole different bubble to us. You understand what I'm saying? So we look at rates. Rate is sitting above 2%. You understand? In terms of the U.S. dollar, because that's the world reserve currency right now. You understand what I'm saying? So, and we have the dollar index sitting at 98.81, 0.002% up, which is pretty much flat. You know, I wouldn't call that any significant percentage up. When we see this push up into 0.1%, 0.2%, that's when we know uh, there's a fair trade going on and so on. And of course, with the dollar being stable that way, you understand what I'm saying? We know there's debt money being pumped into the market. You understand what I'm saying? There's money printing going on, and it's being used to prop up the market. So let's look at the Fed, what they've done for the past couple of days. So if we go down from the 20, well, since the beginning of March, really, let's look from the 15th. We'll see that they did 1.5 trillion in repo, up to 1.6, stayed at 1.6, up 1.7, 1.7, 1.7, 1.8. We can see the increase gradually down to 1.7 again, down to 1.6. And of course, guys, it's important that we understand that everything they're doing is nothing but they print these things out of the air, out of thin air. You understand what I'm saying? And they use it to buy assets. You understand? The principle of what they're doing doesn't make any sense, but they always tell us that, oh, it's to help the market. It's to yeah. It's not helping nobody. As a matter of fact, it's destroying everybody. You understand? So, looking at the state of the market in terms of risk, we can see that the volatility index is down. The VIX is down, and of course, we saw the market rise. So, anytime we see the VIX come down, we can expect the market to rise. That indicator right there has never ever failed once. You understand? It's like clockwork. So obviously, and we know in terms of the debt market, for the Fed to actually control inflation, they need to stop this. This needs to reduce down to zero. The balance sheet, which I don't have open right now. Again, they need to taper the balance sheet, meaning they need to get rid of all the money on the balance sheet. You understand what I'm saying? So all of that needs to happen simultaneously. But recently, we know the Feds came out and said they're not going to stop asset purchasing. And as we can see in the repo, they haven't stopped. They've increased. They've gone up, slowed down a bit, and then they're gonna continue again. I won't be surprised if we see repo touch 2 trillion again. You understand? So, and of course, all of that money made its way into the stock market and the crypto market. That's why the crypto market went above that 2 trillion mark again. But we know there's futures and options expiring towards the end of the month. So it's gonna be a nice, decent dump, and then we do it all over again with the open interest, and then we start climbing again. So keep an eye out on the open interest on the exchanges. That lets you know how much people are actually interested in the market, and then when you look at the volume, that gives you an idea of how much of that open interest, how much it's worth. So moving on to some news. We know recently the United States passed some spending, a 1.5 trillion spending bill, which again we know a lot of these European countries did the same, all in the name of helping Ukraine, the economy, blah 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 blah. But this article pointed out how much waste is in the 1.5 trillion spending bill. The bill is 2,700 pages in length. You understand? That's about 10 books. But guys, we know why they make it so long. They put a lot of crap in there. That's why it's important to know how to flick through these pages and go to the important stuff. You understand what I'm saying? Look at the table of content and look for the important stuff in there, and just go to those and read those. And most of the stuff in there are crap. So here, look at this: 1 million for a farm to refrigerator training facility in Pennsylvania. Guys, that is going in someone's pocket. Someone with their company, it's going in their pocket. Look at this one: 2 million for George Mason University Center for Climate Change. Really? Look, 2.5 million for a museum in Vermont. Really, we're giving museums money now as well, even though these museums are privately owned. You understand what I'm saying? And the people still have to pay to visit some of these museums and stuff like that. Some of them are free, don't get me wrong, but some of them you still have to pay to visit them. Um, and next you got 3 million for fisherman's coop facility in Guam, guys. You know, and those are just stuff that are just listed right off the back. But I'm sure if we go into the spending bill, we'll see a lot more stuff in there that they've allocated funds to, and you just think to yourself, how is that necessary in this situation? And remember, the spending, money printing, is done on behalf of the people. It's for the benefit of the people. You tell me, how is any of this benefiting anyone? This only benefits a minority group, not the majority. That's why democracy is a mob rule. You understand what I'm saying? They tell you that, oh, this is what majority of people want, but it's always a lie. That's not what majority of people want. It's what a very small group of people want, and they push it on the majority, and nobody questions that shit. You understand? Moving on, we've got UK government borrowing hit 138.4 billion, less than half of amount last year. So government borrowing stood at 13.1 billion in February, down by 2.4 billion from the same month in year earlier, according to official figures. Guys, the Office for National Statistics said that despite the fall, this was the second highest February borrowing since monthly records began in 1993, and was still 12.8 billion more than in February 2020, before the pandemic struck. In the financial year so far, borrowing reached 138.4 billion, which was less than half of the 290.9 billion borrowed in the same period last year. Guys, they're only gonna, ramp up the spending. The spending is only gonna increase and increase, and the taxing will increase and increase as well, because they have an agenda to make sure nobody owns anything. You understand what I'm saying? And they're sticking to that. And the way they're doing it is borrowing money and making the people surety for the money. You understand what I'm saying? They're saying you're gonna pay for it. It don't matter what we do, because we're doing it for you. You understand? It's a welfare state. You understand? Moving on, we've got Vladimir Putin wants Europe to pay for gas in ruble. European natural gas prices shoot higher, and the ruble strengthens after the Russian president called for payments in the local currency. This is gonna happen. They have no control over Russia. Russia can pretty much do what it wants to do, and this man right here hasn't even used all his all the arsenal in his fear. You understand what I'm saying? He's just pulling things one by one, and it's gonna hurt the West, Europe, the Western European, and America. That's who this is gonna hurt, because the dependency on the dollar is gonna keep shooting down and down and down, and the dependency on a lot of these European currencies, it's gonna go kaput as well. It's not just gonna affect the dollar; it's gonna affect the European currencies too. Fed's power list for qualifications for US CBDC. This is interesting. It says, yeah, digital dollar must ensure user privacy, be identifiable. When they say user privacy, you get like identity verifiable. Guys, it means they don't want you to have privacy. When they say, oh, we want to give you privacy, nope, it's the opposite. They want to know what you're doing. That's what this is all about. User, meaning the CBDC have to show us what these guys are buying, where they're buying it, how much they're buying. We want to know all of those things. And then at the same time, we want to know who is making those purchases, who the data belongs to. And then next, you have intermediated, meaning we still want to be the middleman. We still want to keep making interest off of the money that we create for these people. Because remember, central bank digital currency, it will still remain a private currency. You understand what I'm saying? It will still remain private. It's a private entity, but issuing to the government authorized by the government to issue currency within the jurisdiction, you know, and be widely accepted as means of payment. And that's the last one. They still want to be able to have the same hegemony they have right now. And, you know, that's why it's important we understand this technology. Nothing is going to change. Things are just gonna be done faster, more efficiently. That's it. The principles are not changing. The principles never change. You understand what I'm saying? It all stays the same. Moving on, we've got India is devising a payment mechanism for trade with Russia. Again, this is gonna reduce the dependency on the dollar because the West is telling all these countries, oh, don't buy, don't do this, but we're seeing countries actually say, nope, I'm gonna go buy me some oil because I need it. You understand what I'm saying? And they're not going to be able to do anything because, and they won't do anything because that's the plan. This is how it's done. You just get people to stop using something and the value of it goes down. You understand what I'm saying? We decide what value is. You get me? That's why in a debt-based economy, even though it's debt-based, we still see it as value. It is what it is. You don't have to use, the central bank notes. You can issue your own notes. You understand what I'm saying? But again, there are steps to take before you can do that. Next, we've got BIS joint pilot. Institutions can use CBDC for international settlement. So this was a pilot between Central Bank of Australia, Malaysia, Singapore, and South Africa. So the main premise of this is basically access to the CBDC, the jurisdiction in which it's being used through and fro. You understand what I'm saying? And of course, the whole aspect of security, so like money laundering and all that sort of jazz there. And then the next stage that they're looking into are further features of what the CBDC can do. But of course, we already know a lot the things that they want to use these things for. So all they're doing right now, guys, we know they need to change the law in order to actually use these things, but that is not stopping them from getting ready for the new digital economy. Once they're ready, once they're fully done, implemented, and they're ready to flip the switch, trust me, the regulation will come, which we'll get into later on as well. Um, Next, we've got soaring energy bills causes hospitality businesses to raise prices and cut opening hours. No shit, Sherlock. You understand what I'm saying? It's gonna affect everything, everything. So we don't need to spend too much on this one. Exclusive hydrogen specialist AFC Energy launches the Power Tower. Guys, we know the future. They're talking about green energy, no more oil burning, no more gas burning, no more power station, blah 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 blah. They want battery and alternative forms of energy. So, guys, the strategy you'd want to take on investment, you want to include green energy in your portfolio. So this is a good example right here. We can all dig deeper, see what they do, and of course, if they're already releasing products like this, it shows that it's a serious company. So all you just want to do is go look at their balance sheet and see how the company's economy is, and then if it looks good, especially if they give dividend, even sweet. You understand? Next, we've got Arizona is the first state to support digital driver's license in Apple Wallet on iPhone. It's coming, guys. Every single thing will be digitized. I mean, it might even go down to your your vehicle's number plate. You understand? And I think that's even already been done already. You understand what I'm saying? Like, there's already a digital number plate. Guys, everything will be digitized. Everything, everything, because they want to have access, know who's who, where they're at, what they're doing, who's their friend, who are they interacting with, who are they giving their documents to, all that sort of jazz there. And all of this will be recorded on the blockchain. The blockchain will literally show who's doing what where. You understand what I'm saying? And using government ID, hey, it brings you under their jurisdiction. Anything you do with government ID is subjected to government regulation. You understand? It's subjected to government regulation. There are four main jurisdiction within the system. You have common law, equity, admiralty, and maritime. You see, all of them have been combined into one. They're all, tried within the same courtroom. But it's your job to look on the paperwork to ensure which jurisdiction you're being charged under. Admiralty doesn't really apply uh to normal people because it's got to do with like uh you know contracts that are established out on the seas and stuff like that. Now, maritime on the other hand can constitute contractual agreement that happen on the sea or on the land. And the law, the contractual agreement happening on the land are maritime, under maritime jurisdiction. That's why, a lot of these taxes, uh, all these bus lane fine, uh, speeding tickets, and a lot of nonsense that we pay for that we shouldn't be paying for. You understand? That's how they're getting it done. And it's important. Understanding the law and how the system is set up is very, very, very crucial. Moving on, we've got mining firm backed by Bezos and Gates to begin Greenland drilling. You understand, guys? Uh, if these guys are claiming green, climate change, blah blah blah, but they're still drilling, carrying out mineral exploration, for cobalt metals. You understand what I'm saying? That's the company that's doing the drilling. However, cobalt, which is the uh, mineral needed to create battery, you understand, they still need to drill for that. So you think to yourself, we're still drilling the earth. Are we not stopping oil burning and gas burning because we don't want to drill it? But like, guys, what they're doing doesn't make no sense. But the main issue we have is things aren't circulating amongst people as it should. You understand what I'm saying? Wealth is being concentrated into the hands of the very few, and then they say there's not enough to go around. There's enough to go around. There's more than enough to go around. It's just humans are greedy. That's the problem. You understand what I'm saying? Next, we've got supply chain plans needs to move from the dark ages onto our screen. So the old evergreen situation that happened, last year and whatnot, was it 2020? The ship that got stuck and whatnot in the Suez Canal. So now, in order to make sure that doesn't happen anymore, or at least when stuff like that does happen, there's live update as to what is going on and stuff like that, so ships don't get backed up and go to the same place and whatnot. So alternative routes can be created and so on and so forth. They're talking about blockchain. Using blockchain to basically track shipments and all the associated information and so on. Again, digitization of the economy. There's nothing else, to buttress on that one. Next, we've got Goldman Sachs. Galaxy Digital announces milestone over the counter crypto trading. Goldman is the first major US bank to trade crypto over the counter. CNBC was the first to report. The bank traded a Bitcoin linked instrument called a non deliverable option with crypto merchant bank Galaxy Digital, the firm said. Guys, these guys are only coming in to make money. We know they're already in the background sponsoring a lot of these, companies, these blockchain companies, but now they're starting to develop their own internal infrastructure to basically match up with that and offer these assets to their customers. So, over the counter trading, meaning this was a trade that was done from, a bank with another, one institution to another institution. You understand what I'm saying? So it's it's nothing that we didn't expect. We know it's coming. You understand what I'm saying? And we're only gonna see more and more institutions jump in. Next, we've got Sam Altman's WorldCoin wants to scan eyeballs in exchange for crypto. As investors race to capitalize on surging interest in cryptocurrency, startups are getting creative in how they onboard a generation of crypto users to their first wallet. Now, guys, you can go and read this article in more details, but as the title suggests, they want to take your biometric information, give you some crypto, and of course they'll tell you, oh yeah, you now have a digital wallet where you can store your digital ID, your digital currency, store all sorts of stuff, and it's linked to your, you know, to your biometric data. And of course, all of this information will be fed to the AI system. Guys, the end goal is to get all this data quickly because again, blockchain, very fast, very efficient, quickly and transfer it to AI. You understand what I'm saying? Because we know the robots, drones, algorithms, they're coming to take over all the jobs, every single thing. You understand what I'm saying? Humans' labor will be obsolete. It's already becoming obsolete. If you go into the manufacturing sector now, especially in like heavy manufacturing, automotive, heavy machineries, and stuff like that, you see a lot of things are automated. These are things that humans used to do before, but now they are automated, and that's what's coming for the rest of the various industries within the economy. You understand? That's what we're seeing now. Next, we've got UK US regulators call for high levels of global collaboration in overseeing DeFi. The Fed is chairing its analysis on central bank digital currency with six other central banks at the BIS, said Chair Jerome Powell. As we know, guys, DeFi is going to be the new banking. It's going to be the new way to basically free up a lot of liquidity. Decentralized finance is basically people coming together, creating a liquidity pool, and then you can have borrowers come borrow money at a certain interest rate, and then obviously the people that are part of the liquidity pool, they all have a share within the interest that those guys pay back. So you basically make money from your money by staking your liquidity within a liquidity pool. So we know that's the future. It's gonna be nice to you know basically have a world whereby people can loan money at a very economical interest rate. However, but this will still be controlled by the same institutions that are controlling the current system. So they might still decide to get greedy, which in my opinion they will get greedy because it will be most of their stolen illicit funds that they will be putting into these things, and they will still be charging people ridiculous money to basically, make more money. So right here we've got a regulatory framework from the Bank of England, which was published 2 days ago. So we've got financial stability in focus, crypto assets, and decentralized finance. Uh, it goes into global crypto asset market. How it's grown, the portion of it in terms of the current global financial asset. 0.4%. Just the usual stuff. Talking about the industry, and of course they give you an overview of all the coins that are there. You got all this that got their own separate tabs and stuff like that. You got stable coin right here, all of these ones, stable coin. You got Binance, XRP, Cardano, and all that. So guys, they know what they're doing. um the main important thing for me in this whole thing is risk from using payment, no monitoring risk. So the regulatory framework is what. So here, regulatory initiatives to mitigate risks from crypto assets and DeFi. So we've got the FPC supports the FSB in its role coordinating the international approach to unbacked crypto assets. So right here, international, guys. Crypto is international. It's gonna be an international regulation. So next, we've got internationally agreed standards for systemic stablecoin providers are currently being established. International standards. We know there's ISO 2002 that's already been established, which is the standard everyone is going on. You understand what I'm saying? So next year, you see, work is also underway internationally. It's the international community have to agree to this because crypto is global. You understand what I'm saying? So work is underway internationally to clarify the treatment of crypto asset exposure under the prudential regime for banks, meaning they have to change the laws. You understand what I'm saying? They have to change the laws. We've got next, the FPC welcomes the Dear CEO letter issued by the PRA, reminding firms of their obligation with respect to crypto assets exposure. So again, guys, there is a risk that exposure to crypto assets grow rapidly before internationally agreed standards are integrated into the UK regulatory framework to help ensure prudent treatment. In the meantime, the PRA has issued a Dear CEO letter, which has the FPC support, reminding banks of their obligation with respect to risk management and capital requirement, yada 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 yada. Because right now, the current system, if you lose your money in whatever way, shape, or form, of course, they'll reimburse you as long as it doesn't have anything to do with your own negligence. If it's, you know, the institution getting hacked or fraud, blah blah blah, they'll reimburse you. But right now, there's nothing like that. So work on the way to deal with vulnerabilities exposed in the dash for cash could help to manage some risk related to crypto asset. The FPC welcomes HM Treasury's proposal for a regulatory regime for stable coins, including bringing systemic stable coins into the bank's regulatory remit. So you see HM Treasury, uh, which is, let's say, the people's bank, uh, the people's bank, I should say, because this is where the people's treasure is kept. You understand what I'm saying? All Bank of England does is help distribute that wealth, and account for things. That's it. So, guys, it's an interesting document. Read it in more details, and obviously, you'll see that a lot of the things they're talking about, we can see that a lot of these institutions are already implementing these things. They're already overhauling their infrastructure uh, to meet these standards and stuff like that. So, and we know ISO 2002 is going live end of this year. So again, when they bring in reports like this out, they are ready, but they owe an obligation to inform the people. But the way they inform the people is almost like, oh, we're not doing it yet. We're still looking into it, but they're ready. You understand? Next, we've got BlackRock looks to offer crypto services as client demand rises. Again, bear market. Uh, when bear market comes, these guys they make a lot of money within that time because they're privy to a lot of insider trading information that ordinary retail investors aren't privy to. So they're able to navigate the market better than anyone, and of course, they're gonna come and take your money. You understand? Next, we've got Israel Bank's Lumi to offer crypto trading. So, Bank Lumi, one of the biggest banks in Israel, will start to offer crypto trading through its digital platform, Pepper Invest, the company said in a press on Friday. So, this right here, they don't have regulations yet, so it's still a plan. So, once regulation is approved, again, internationally, you will see that all of these banks they're ready to go. They've got all the infrastructure in place, and once the switch is flipped, it's go time. Next, we've got the next big business in crypto is staking, according to a top expert. Here's how it will work. Obviously, as we mentioned earlier, uh, when it comes to the new system, the new banking DeFi, you'll have people stake their money in order to earn yields on their asset they've staked. So places like Coinbase, Binance, Crypto.com, they all offer some sort of staking for whatever asset, and of course you earn yield or some sort of other uh, benefit in return for staking your asset. So that staking is a good way to also make money in the bear market, because you're not only making money, but at the same time you've put your money to work for you. You understand? So next right here we've got Ripple. Ripple partner launches corridor on RippleNet. Businesses in Florida may start paying taxes in crypto. We don't need to, go deeper into that. We know what Stellar, Ripple, Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all these crypto assets. We know what they're gonna be used for. We just have to go out there, look at the partnerships, and look at all the different use cases, and of course we can use all of that information to set up a portfolio. That's the main reason we look at all these things. Next, we've got Russia is considering selling its oil and gas for Bitcoin as sanctions intensify from the West. Russia ain't playing. Russia's like, shit, we're gonna knock out all this dollar. Even before all of this, Russia had already started, de-dollarizing for like the past 5 6 years before all of this even started happening. They've started reducing their holding of foreign reserve of the dollar. You understand what I'm saying? They've been getting rid of the dollar for some years now in anticipation of these things. So again, guys, all these things are planned out. It's planned out. Lastly, we've got Coinbase to require recipient information for crypto transfers from users in Canada, Singapore, and Japan. Like, why do you need the information of who they're sending money to? Like, I mean, come on, guys. Some of these things you just think to yourself, why do you need the money? They'll say stuff like anti-money laundering, anti finance for terrorism and stuff like that. Guys, all of those are excuses. I'm not saying they can't, you know, uh, want to know or preserve the system in a way that to avoid people using the system to do those things. But at the same time, there's level of privacy that people should be allowed to have. And again, it's up to the people to demand that, because if the world we live in, if people could cheat you, they will cheat you. You'll be surprised with the amount of people that actually have a decent morals out there. A lot of people don't have morals. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of people do not have any sort of moral whatsoever. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you all listening in. That's all we have for today. I hope, obviously, everything you've seen, uh, I've shown you, or at least uh, planted a seed in your mind as to what's going on in the world, and of course, what we can expect. Um, things are happening. Things are happening. And there's only so much we can cover. And for now, obviously, we're doing our best to make sure we capture the relevant stuff. But guys, the main thing is always research, find out more information, go in depth into these things, and find out exactly the details of what they're doing, how they're planning on doing it, how that will affect you, your family, friends, loved ones, wherever they may be. You understand? So at the same time, guys, share with your friends, family, and loved ones, because we have to wake everyone up. We have to let everyone understand what's happening, and of course, at the same time, we can start talking about how we can shield ourselves from these things. You understand? So, with all that being said, I appreciate you all listening in. Peace, love, and light to every single one of you out there. Uh, I'll catch you on another episode. Peace.